In this video, I'm going to demonstrate what people talk about in relation to AI and how it's different from the products they're actually building. And as you will see, while there is some overlap, there are also some topics and areas that people who build real products are much more focused on than the social media and YouTube. And I think we can get quite some interesting insights from there, because whether you're interested in AI or you're building something of your own, probably you want to know which AI ideas become products. So where AI attention goes first and where money follows later. First, I will show you the methodology I used to do this analysis, and then I will walk you step by step through the insights that I got. First, let me show you how I found out what people are talking about in relation to AI. So I used the Nodus app to import 1,200 top videos from YouTube on the topic of AI, and then I visualized it as a graph where I can see the main concepts and topics in this video. So that gives me an idea of what people are talking about on YouTube when it comes to AI. As you can see, there is a lot of technical content and also some stuff on viral videos and funny trends and video generation and so on. Then I went to ProductHunt and I did the search on artificial intelligence to have it show me all the startups that were posted there, the most popular ones on the topic of AI. And then I ran Nodus, which is an AI agent, and I asked it to extract the top results from this search page and to create a CSV file for me, which I then imported back into Nodus so that I can visualize the descriptions of those companies. And that gives me an idea of what products people are actually building. And as you can see, these two graphs are quite different. I mean, there is some overlap in the agent area, for example. There's a lot about agents, but then there's also a lot of other stuff here that do not exist in the video. So I'll show you later what the differences are and even demonstrate a special mode where you can subtract one graph from the other so you can see what people on ProductHunt are talking about here, but what doesn't really exist on YouTube. All right, so let's get to the first graph, the graph of the YouTube results. I have another video that I will link to here above and in the description below where you can learn more about this analysis. I posted it about a week ago. But basically, when you visualize the top content on AI from YouTube, what you see is that a lot of people are talking about prompt mastery. So you have this cluster here on prompt mastery. Then you have this one on automation tools, Gemini trends, so this is all the viral video stuff and funny rankings, ChatGPT hacks. So it's either quite technical or it's focused on entertainment. And that's where the gap is also in this content, because you have a lot of stuff on prompt engineering and on viral Gemini trends, but you don't have something that connects them together. And this is also an opportunity for content creators, or also if you're just working in the field, to see how you could combine both, right? So this is what we see when we analyze the top YouTube search results on the topic of AI. Then if we go to the graph of the actual products from ProductHunt, then we see a different picture, because when we have a visualization, we see that, okay, there's a lot of content and companies posted around building agents. So these two clusters are quite important. Also, platform is an important word in description. By the way, if you click on this, you can see what are the actual descriptions that contain all of those terms at the same time. And then you can also see that there are some other clusters. So here in the analytics panel, we can actually turn on the captions for those clusters. We can see that most of the product descriptions are talking about building agents, platforms to build agents. Then we have one on video creation. So that kind of correlates with this trend on YouTube to make viral videos and funny viral shorts and stuff like that. So we have this here as well. That's where the overlap is. But then we also have a big cluster on app development. So a lot of companies are creating applications that help you develop apps and code with AI, which is actually not so much what is present in this graph. So while a lot of products are made in the app development field, there's not so many videos on YouTube really in relation to other stuff that talk about this. I have it a lot in my feed because I'm interested in it, but in general, YouTube is pushing another kind of content. So that's quite interesting. It's lacking a little bit these practical applications, which are much more present here, of course, because it's real businesses. And then we have another really interesting cluster on meeting automation. So you have this whole green cluster here, and it's talking about real-time meeting, voice assistant, task automation. So some kind of co-pilot for daily stuff and especially for meetings. And this is another cluster that I didn't find in this graph here. So there must be some videos on YouTube that explain you how to do that, but that's not the focus among the most of the stuff, right? So that's also something interesting to take into account. And these are actually the two practical aspects of the apps which are being developed, which are maybe below the hype level, but they're still quite important and also very useful. And we can then, of course, start digging deeper using the graph. And this is one of the advantages of using this visual representation, because it allows us to compare both graphs and to see some patterns emerging, but they're also interactive. So for instance, if I understand that, okay, a lot of people will have the words building an agent in the description, right? I can select those words, delete them, and see what else pops up. And then I see that, okay, the video cluster, instant video creation becomes an important one. And this kind of correlates with this cluster on YouTube about Gemini trends and funny videos. So maybe this is more like for entertainment. Also, we have the cluster on viral content here, you see. So this correlates with the hype cycle. But for instance, what doesn't really correlate is this big cluster on real-time meetings. And specifically, then I can start exploring, okay, so meeting and task. And then when I see where it's actually used, I see that meeting automation, email tasks. So there is some software on meeting automation. That's quite interesting. And then also real time and a lot of real time stuff. And what are the real time stuff? Voice translation here, then AI trainer, note taker that summarizes meetings real time. So there's this huge emphasis on doing something real time, and usually it's in relation to meetings. So this is another signal that a lot of people are building their products in this direction. And probably it could be interesting to have more content on this topic. I don't know if it's a sign that you should be building something like this, because obviously that means that you will have a lot of competition. But the advantage of using the graph is that you can also identify the gaps here. And that's very interesting, because if you go into the gaps, you will see that there is one cluster on video, instant video creation, and then another one on real-time meetings. So could there be something that links them both? And in Nodus, you have this feature that you can click on AI idea after you highlighted this gap, and then it's going to generate for you like a business idea that would bridge this gap. So this is actually quite useful, because this gap exists in the already existing products, right? So this stuff are already out there, but not so many people are connecting instant video creation in real-time meetings. So if we ask the AI to generate some business idea that would link those two clusters together, we know that we're focusing on something that is relevant, because a lot of people are building stuff in this direction, but that fills the niche and the gap in the market, because not so many people are building something that links those two clusters at the same time. And sometimes it might be something not so useful, but sometimes you can get some really interesting ideas this way. So let's see what it produced here. Create AI-powered real-time meeting platform. Okay, so that touches on the first cluster, that allows users to instantly generate video summaries and product demos. This tool utilizes voice recognition and image API integration to automate tasks, enhancing workflow efficiency and high-performance meeting outcomes. So it's quite interesting, because instead of just saying, okay, make a real-time platform for meeting summarization, here it's saying, let's use the image and video generation capabilities and build them into this real-time meeting AI software, so that you can actually generate some prototypes and ideas as you go, as you're having a conversation with your colleagues or friends. So that, I think, is quite an interesting idea. I will actually save it into my project notes. I can click here, and then it's going to be saved here. And then I can come back to it later, and I can regenerate more ideas based on the other gaps which are identified. For instance, code optimization and viral content. And then you have another one on efficient workflows and code optimization. So let's actually click here and see what it will produce. AI idea that links those two together. Develop an AI-driven IDE that seamlessly integrates with full-stack platform to optimize code for real-time web app development. This tool automatically turns website into LLM-ready data sources and features fast coding with GPU-enhanced deep work capability. So I like this part. This tool automatically turns website into LLM-ready data sources. Actually, this is the thing that I would keep. So I will select only this part here, and then I'm going to project notes, and I'm just gonna paste it here and save it for later. I think it's going to be quite useful as well. So that's how you would generate the ideas based on those product descriptions, by finding the gaps and then trying to fill them in with your own ideas. And like I said, once you analyze the graph, you can always select some nodes and delete them to see what else pops up, because sometimes some things are hidden, and that allows you to gradually get to the periphery of this graph and to see what maybe everyone else is missing. Let me show you one last thing that I think is quite interesting, where we can compare this to graphs. So we compare what everyone is talking about to the graph of the products that people are actually building. And in order to do that, we simply go to the original graph that we were analyzing, so this AI videos on YouTube. And then in Nodus, we have this really interesting feature that's called compare to. So we can compare different graphs together, and here we choose differs from. So we make the difference comparison here to the ProductHunt graph. So I select it here, click visualize, and what happens is that Nodus subtracts one graph from the other. So it's showing us here actually in the description perspective in ProductHunt graph, but not on AI. So it's basically what the product descriptions on ProductHunt are talking about that is not so much present in the videos on AI. And here it's very important to note that it's not just the words that it's going to show, because of course, like everyone is talking about platforms and agents, but it's the relations that we're focusing on here. And based on these relations, we build these clusters of topics. Okay, so we can clearly see what are the topics that are in the ProductHunt descriptions, but not so much in AI videos on YouTube. And here it shows us, okay, there is a cluster on agent automation, okay, creative workflow, but very interestingly, app development. There is not so much content in general in the most popular AI videos on app development. You have some, and it will be shown to you if you're a developer, but that's not like the main topic at the moment, it seems like. It's much more focused on prompt engineering and agents, not on building apps and designing websites like it says here. You see app design, website, web complete, engineer. So it's really like building stuff. And also meeting intelligence. So again, this idea of meetings. So that shows us that in fact, those two clusters are quite important to people when they build products. They want to build stuff that can be used to develop apps, and they want to build stuff that enhance the experience of having meetings in real time. So these are the insights that we can get from subtracting one graph from the other and seeing what exists on ProductHunt that doesn't yet exist or not so much present on YouTube videos. All right, so I hope you find it interesting. Let me know what you think about it. You can also run this analysis with any other data source. In my case, I use the YouTube videos and a CSV file with the product descriptions extracted from ProductHunt using Manus. So you can do this yourself. You can run Manus to actually extract some data from any website and make a CSV table. It works really well for it. Takes only 5 minutes, runs in your own browser, and then you can import it into Nodus and then run the same analysis and then compare it to something else. In Nodus, you have also a lot of data import options. It can also scrape websites for you, but you could also, for instance, analyze Google search results for a certain topic, or even generate some results with LLM to get like a general idea of what most of the people are thinking about in relation to a certain topic. So there's lots of different options, and I encourage you to try it out and run your analysis. And if you have some insights, please also share them in the comments to this video, because I would be curious to know what you're analyzing using this approach. Thank you.